アスタ君たちにくっついてきたはいいけど、何やら大変なことが起きてるようだぞ。ここはこのチャーミーの出番だね。活躍すればさらなる高みの料理が食べられるかもしれない。美味しそうな匂いきたー。戦の前にまずは腹ごしらえをしなければ。
Hey everybody, welcome to another lesson of learning Japanese. Today we're going to be covering another anime line of the day, and we're taking a line from the show Black Clover, and we're going to be taking it from the 21st episode. And the line that we're going to cover today is basically just going to translate to, if I do a good job, I might be able to eat even better food. So this is a line that a lot of people might be able to sympathize with. I definitely do. So how about we break it down in Japanese and get a feel of how it's working here and how it translates into just that. So from the episode, it reads in Japanese. First, the character says, "Koko wa kono Charmy no deban da ne," and this is gonna translate to basically, it looks like it's time for me, Charmy, to shine. Then what follows that line is the one that we're gonna focus on. Katsuyaku sureba saranaru takami no ryori ga taberareru kamo shirenai. And this is gonna translate to basically what I just said. If I do a good job, then I might be able to eat even better food.
ここはこのチャーミーの出番だね。活躍すればさらなる高みの料理が食べられるかもしれない。
So now, of course, let's jump into the actual breakdown and see if this line is applicable to real-life conversation. So we're going to skip that first line that we covered since we already know what it translates to, and it's not too essential to express the meaning that we're going for here. So we're just going to jump right into the second sentence that starts with the verbal noun Katsuyaku suru, and this is going to translate to basically kind of loosely, it translates to just to do something, to like participate in an activity, but there's a nuance of like to put a great effort into it or to play an active role in something. So when we translate it, it's kind of more naturally just going to be like to do a good job. If I do a good job, the suru here is conjugated into the conditional ba form, so suru turns into sureba, and this is going to translate to basically if I do. So if I do a good job. Then right after that we have this phrasing of saranaru, and this is, I actually don't know what we call this grammatically speaking, something like a pre-noun adjectival, I think. And it's going to be modifying the noun because it's a pre-noun right after it, which is takami, which is going to translate to basically an elevated place, a high place. Saranaru is going to translate to basically even more or further. So saranaru takami is going to translate to basically an even more elevated place. And this wording is kind of not too common. This kind of phrasing, saranaru takami, is probably going to be the most non-common thing about this whole line. Let's continue on to see how it's working here. It's being used as basically the first noun in a noun of a noun modification, as we can see with the particle no right after it. So saranara takami no, and then the second noun is going to be the word ryouri, which is going to translate to basically food, a meal or cuisine or whatever. So saranaru takami no ryouri is going to be basically food of an even higher quality or elevated place, but naturally we just turn that into like basically we're talking about the quality of the food. So we say like even better food or even more delicious food. So if you were to kind of say this in an everyday kind of conversation context, you might substitute that saranaru takami no ryori with some other more common phrasing, just like motto oishii or something. And yeah, so moving on, we're gonna mark now that thing, that noun of a noun modification, even better food, as the object. It's being used with the particle ga here, which is the case because we are going to be using the potential form of a verb. So usually we would use the object marker o with the object, but since we're using the potential form here, we use ga instead. And the verb that we're going to be using in the potential form is just going to be the verb taberu, which means to eat. So the potential form of that is taberareru, and of course that will translate to be able to eat or can eat. And we are basically going to finish the sentence here with one last grammar pattern, which is the kamo shirenai grammar pattern, which just basically translates to might. So as opposed to be able to eat, it's might be able to eat. So it plugs onto the taberareru because it can, because taberareru is the potential form, which is basically a plain form, so we can just plug it on right after there, and that'll translate to might the thing or whatever the thing is, and in this case it's to be able to eat food. So that's might be able to eat food. What kind of food? Even better food. So might be able to eat even better food. Combine that with even the first part of the sentence, if I do a good job, and of course it all comes together. If I do a good job, I might be able to eat even better food. 活躍すればさらなる高みの料理が食べられるかもしれない。This is that's the line there.
ここはこのチャーミーの出番だね。活躍すればさらなる高みの料理が食べられるかもしれない。
And so yeah, all of the grammar patterns present here, let's just review them real quick. I think there's like 3 or 4. We have the ba form, conditional ba form, noun of a noun modification with the no there, potential form to basically mean to be able to do or can do something, then the kamo shirenai, which means might, basically. Those are all perfectly common grammar patterns that you'll see in real life conversation. So you can easily modify this line to say similar things, like if I do a good job, I'll be able to do something else, like maybe somebody will reward you, I'll be able to have free time and do something over the weekend or something like that. I don't have to work overtime or something like that. This is a very easily modifiable line. And so yeah, despite being short and simple, the construction that we've learned has made it possible for us to express a lot of different things.
アスタ君たちにくっついてきたはいいけど、何やら大変なことが起きてるようだぞ。ここはこのチャーミーの出番だね。活躍すればさらなる高みの料理が食べられるかもしれない。美味しそうな匂いキター。戦の前にまずは腹ごしらえをしなければ。
Alright, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Anime Line of the Day. Remember, if there were grammar patterns mentioned for this line, they'll be mentioned in the description or the pinned comment below with links to the individual lessons on them. You can also probably find them in the playlist of our complete grammar video series shown on the screen right here alongside our anime playlist. And last but not least, don't forget to try to translate the bonus line we provided. Leave your translation in a comment below. Check out our Patreon, like the video, and subscribe. With all that said and done, see you next time.